What is going on, guys? TKD 123 video, and today I want to talk about some reports that came out today that was a lot on the internet and Twitter and NeoGAF, whatever, and we're going to talk about crossplay. Now, to not get confused with cross-buy and cross all this whatever stuff, crossplay is essentially where you have a game that allows people on different platforms to play with each other, whether it be Steam and PS4 or Xbox Live with the Switch. They all can play with each other. That is how crossplay works, right? And it is something that, you know, has never really been widespread ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had some instances where, you know, some games have accidentally put it on. Like, for example, with Fortnite just this year, you know, there was a, you know, glitch or patch or whatever where it actually allowed the game to be crossplay between the Xbox One and the PS4 for a brief amount of time. And the good guys at Epic, you know, are just saying that, hey, it was a mistake, it was a bug in the system, whatever. While, you know, a lot of people are saying that, hey, man, this is kind of, you know, a way to show Sony, you know, that this can be done, and we're gonna get into how they feel about crossplay. And really, the overall, you know, point of this video is really, you know, the slant on the good guys at Sony and PlayStation and how they view crossplay. So we are talking about this today because, you know, I was over here on NeoGAF, and good old Phil Spencer, the savior of Xbox, low key, you know what I'm saying, the head of Xbox right now, he had some interesting thoughts to say on crossplay, and he, you know, hasn't been the first to quote anything about crossplay in terms of Sony, you know, at all this year. Like, there have been plenty of people have spoken out against how, you know, they view crossplay and everything. And let's get into Phil Spencer's quote here. So he says, quote, "We talk to them all the time with Minecraft on PlayStation 4. We have to be one of the biggest games on their platform in terms of sales and gameplay. Same with Nintendo. The relationship with Nintendo on this front has been strong. They've been super supportive and we continue to collaborate with them, but I think their view is different. They should talk about what their view is." And, you know, by they mean PlayStation, they mean Sony, and this whole thing. And so basically what's been going on over the past few months and everything is that PlayStation and Sony are not down with crossplay, right? For multiple reasons. They give out a lot of reasons that are pretty much BS in my opinion. And really, you know, there's really only been one, you know, really big and prominent reason why they won't do it, and it is a pretty BS one. Let's go read that one as well. And this is when the big old hoopla came out where Rocket League was coming to Switch, and how the devs of Rocket League wanted to bring, you know, the ability for everyone to play with each other, a real thing in the game, right? And so everyone was down with it. You know, the Steam was down with it, Xbox down with it, Switch was down with it, but the PS4 was not. And the reason why they gave it was because they felt that they have some sort of responsibility to their install base, and how, you know, they want to protect, you know, the people that are on their network and what they're exposed to and everything. So they feel that maybe if they're exposed to a PC crowd or a Xbox crowd or you know, or even a Nintendo crowd, which of all things, why Nintendo crowds, but you know what I'm saying, that they will be somewhat harmful to the install base overall, and, you know, they don't want to, you know, be responsible for that happening to those people. So essentially you have, you know, PlayStation and Sony kind of being like the parents of this whole thing, like being like, oh man, like, I don't want my kid to hang out with, you know, those kids over there, because, you know, those kids over there, they might be, you know, selling drugs, they might be cursing, whatever. And you know, it is, again, as dumb as it sounds, you know, just out of my mouth, as dumb as it sounds, that is exactly what they said as their whole rebuttal for them not having crossplay. It's dumb. And trust me, a lot of people are not, you know, happy about this. Phil Spencer obviously right here in the quote, and then we have a bunch of different examples here from Epic as well, because back when we, you know, first talked about, you know, in the beginning of this video, we talked about how Epic and Fortnite, you know, had their game crossplay for a little bit as an accident. But, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, I think it's probably true, is that they kind of used it as a way to be like, hey, listen, it is this simple. Like it is this simple to have, you know, both ecosystems be able to play with each other on the same game and everything. And we even had Phil Spencer tweet that day, you know, when there was a person that asked him on Twitter that said, hey, what do you think of the accidental crossplay of Xbox One and PS4? Everybody was loving it. It's too bad it's fixed. Phil Spencer replied with, I would have liked to see them leave it on. So definitely it's pretty clear who sees, you know, who definitely is playing by the ball here and really is definitely vouching for crossplay. Is definitely not PlayStation, which is a very, very ironic thing that I'll go into a little bit. But another example, right, of a dev blaming PlayStation for not having crossplay was with Ark Survival Evolved. They were, you know, they just moved their game onto PS4 and everything. And, you know, the good guys at Ark, they don't, you know, they weren't even trying to put their game on the Xbox One and make that some sort of crossplay thing. They were trying to just crossplay with the PC at this point, and they were just like, no, we're not having it, this, that, and the third, all this, you know, random, you know, different reasons for, you know, little kids being on the network and not wanting to be exposed to other people in like other networks. Xbox. It's just crazy. And with all of these, different instances and different, reasons why, it is so ironic to me that it's PlayStation that is heavy against crossplay. Because if you think about it, right, if you remember back to E3 2013, back when they officially announced the PS4 and everything, they were doubling down on the gamer. They were going to, just release games and everything and really be, the kind of the main gamer console, as opposed to that time back in 2013 when the Xbox One was being, advertised as this kind of multimedia device and everything like that. The PlayStation, like doubled down. They focused on the gamer and the games overall, and so to have them, anti, gamer in this whole thing is very, very weird thing, because honestly, you ask anybody in the street, and you ask anybody on Twitter or whatever, and if they're a hardcore gamer, they would love to have this feature. Like, look, like I would love to be able to play, Destiny 2, play Call of Duty, play Rocket League, Borderlands, Anthem, like all of these big, massive multiplayer games. I would love to play with, more people other than on PS4 that, my friend might have Xbox One and we can still play together on the same game. Like, that'd be so cool to have. But here we have PlayStation, just not giving in, not doing it, and then we have Xbox One vouching for it, wanting to make it happen. The Switch is down for it. They've been making a lot of moves to make all their games crossplay and everything, and we just have Sony here being very, very resilient and being very, very, just not down with it, right? And I feel, there is a reason for it that I think that they just don't want to admit, and I feel it's a very awkward reason, a very weird reason. And I think it's just that because if they want, I think there's a slant where they want, those that are on the PS4 ecosystem and on the, ecosystem as a whole under PlayStation to stay within PlayStation. It's a super, super weird opinion, and like a lot of people have been talking about this is like the real reason why they don't want crossplay and everything. But I just feel like it's a very, very interesting topic because I just don't understand like the true negative behind this, right? Because, if look here, right? Let's say we're gonna open up crossplay for Destiny 2, right? I already own Destiny 2 on the PS4. If I can play with my other friends on Xbox One, what would make either of us trade sides at that point? Like, it's not an exclusive, it's a multi-plat, and really, at that point, it is just better for the consumer because we are, spending, like a lot of time with our friends and these games, and it's also better for the developers and better for the publishers because we are spending more time in the game because we're, gaming with maybe a more variety of people. Like, that's probably a, a very, very, under perfect condition thing to happen, but it could definitely happen, right? And then maybe, another piece of this whole thing is the exclusive DLC side of the whole thing. Because, like, you all know how PS4 and PlayStation, they be, like, just low-key hooking up with other devs and other publishers and getting exclusive content for multiplayer games on the PS4. So I'm sure definitely right there that also has something to do with it, where they, have exclusive strikes on Destiny, for example. They have exclusive content across a bunch of games, whatever, stuff like that. So maybe I feel that maybe, like, that's the reason where they want to kind of retain that exclusivity and have people that like like let's say they're just brand new to gaming or whatever, they are buying a new console and that more extra exclusive content on like the PS4 might entice them to buy a PS4 and the game as well. So maybe like that could be a part of it. I'm not even really sure, but most importantly, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think about crossplay? Do you guys want it? Or do you guys feel that like these excuses by Sony are pretty much trash at this point? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure while you're done to check out my description. You can find my Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, from there. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.